Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 16.1A. I've entitled this video, Landforms and Climate of South Asia. This video is going to cover pages 492 to 495. Well, let's start with questions 1 through 7. Label the following 7 countries in South Asia. Let's start with Bangladesh. That's that country right there. Now let's move on to Bhutan. That's that little country right there, Bhutan. Then we're going to move over to the biggest country in this part of the world, India. My cat Houdini's making noises over there. Next, we're going to move over to Maldives. There's a bunch of islands over here, Maldives. And then let's go over here to Nepal. This country right here is Nepal. Over here is Pakistan. And closing out with Sri Lanka. That island nation right there to the southeast of India is Sri Lanka. South Asia's physical features. South Asia forms a subcontinent. A subcontinent is a geographically or politically unique part of a larger continent. 7 countries make up the region of South Asia. Of these, India is by far the largest. The other 6 countries are Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Question number 8. What is a subcontinent? It is a geographically or politically unique part of a larger continent. So it is part of Asia, but it's so big it's called a subcontinent. Question number 9. What is the largest country in South Asia? India. Both in, they're talking geographically. It's also population as well, but geographically, India is the biggest country in South Asia. Northern mountains and plains. 3 mighty mountain ranges form South Asia's northern border. They are the Hindu Kush, the Karakoram, and the Himalaya. You can see those on this map here. The Himalaya range includes the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest, pictured here, at 29,028 feet. The mountain ranges form a physical barrier. Invaders and traders could enter South Asia through only a few openings, such as the Khyber Pass between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Plate tectonics created the ranges millions of years ago. Today, the mountains are still rising. Plate movements also cause earthquakes throughout South Asia. Question number 10. What are the 3 big mountain ranges that form South Asia's northern border? They are the Hindu Kush, the Karakoram, and the Himalaya. Question 11. What is the highest mountain in the world? Mount Everest. Question 12. How did plate tectonics impact South Asia in the past? It created these huge mountain ranges millions of years ago. Question 13. How do plate tectonics impact South Asia in the present? Well, they're moving still, and that can cause earthquakes in South Asia. 3 major rivers begin as small streams from the mountain ranges. The rivers are the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra, and you can see those rivers pictured here on this map. The Indus flows southward through Pakistan to the Arabian Sea, pictured here. The Ganges and the Brahmaputra flow east and southeast to the Bay of Bengal. The 3 rivers cross a vast plains area where their annual flooding has deposited rich soil for growing crops. 1/10 of the world's people now live in the alluvial plain created by the Ganges River. This alluvial plain, or area of fertile soil deposited by floodwaters, is the world's longest. The Brahmaputra and the Ganges come together and form the largest delta on Earth. Deltas are places where rivers deposit soil at the mouth of a river. The Brahmaputra-Ganges Delta has some of the world's richest farmland. Question number 14. What are the 3 major rivers that are important in South Asia? You have the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra. Question number 15. What does the phrase alluvial plain mean? An alluvial plain is an area of fertile soil deposited by the floodwaters. Question 16. Why do 10% of the world's population live in the alluvial plain in South Asia? Because that soil is so rich for growing crops. So it's a great place to grow food, and food means people. Question 17. What is a delta? A delta is a place where rivers deposit soil at the mouth of a river. Question 18 is a thinking question. Why are deltas important for humans? Deltas are important for humans because deltas have rich soil, and rich soil is what grows crops, and people need food to survive. Question 19. What is the soil like in the narrow coastal plain of India? It is rich, but I think that's on this area here. So let's move on to this next slide. Central and Southern Highlands. Mountains and rivers also dominate central and southern parts of South Asia. They physically and culturally separate India into northern and southern parts. Much of southern India is a high, flat area called the Deccan Plateau. Two low mountain ranges, the Western and Eastern Ghats, form the plateau's edge, and you can see that pictured here, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. A narrow coastal plain lies between each mountain range and the seacoast. The soils of the plain are rich and fertile, and that answers question number 19. What is the soil like in the narrow coastal plains of India? Rich and fertile. And you can see these different maps show basically the same thing, but in different, this is more colorful than this one. Islands of South Asia. Sri Lanka and Maldives are the two island countries of South Asia. Sri Lanka, shaped like a teardrop, lies off the southeastern tip of India. Maldives lies southwest of India's tip and is made of numerous islands, and you can see that pictured here. Many of these islands are small, ring-shaped islands called atolls, and you can see what an atoll looks like here. Question number 20. What is the name of the teardrop-shaped island off the southeastern tip of India? That is Sri Lanka. Question 21. What is the name of the country that is made up of numerous small islands located southwest of India's tip? That is Maldives. Question number 22. What are atolls? Atolls are islands that are small and ring-shaped. South Asia's climates. Climate is closely related to the physical features of the region. Because the physical features of South Asia are so diverse, the region's climate is diverse too. About half of South Asia has a tropical climate, with different kinds of plant life. Much of the northern half of the region enjoys a warm, temperate climate. You can also find cool highlands in the north and scorching deserts to the west. Monsoons. Much of South Asia's climate is a result of seasonal wind patterns called monsoons. Most of the region has little or no rainfall for 8 months of the year. Then, beginning in May and early June, temperatures begin to rise sharply. Heated air causes a change in wind direction. Winds from the Indian Ocean carry moisture inland, bringing heavy rains and flooding. Most areas along the coast get at least 90 inches of rain per year. Millions of family farms depend on rain for survival. The annual monsoon rains support South Asia's large population. Without the rains, the region could not grow enough food for its people. The floods come at a cost, though. They damage property and can cause loss of life. Question number 23. What is a monsoon? A monsoon is described as a wind that changes direction within the seasons. And you can see how a monsoon works, pictured right here. Question 24. Thinking question. Why are monsoons a double-edged sword? That phrase means something that is both good and bad for South Asia. Well, it's fantastic because that rain is needed for the millions of family farms that grow crops. So they need the rain, the precipitation that comes from the monsoons. However, the negative part of a monsoon is it can damage property and cause loss of life. So it's both a giver of life and a taker of life, thus a double-edged sword. Other natural hazards include tropical cyclones. These large, swirling storms often slam into the coast along the Bay of Bengal. Their violent winds and heavy rains can cause devastation. The strong winds push water from the Bay of Bengal to the shore, flooding low-lying areas far inland. One cyclone can kill tens of thousands of people. The delta lands of the Brahmaputra and Ganges rivers are especially vulnerable to flooding. Question 25. What is a cyclone? Well, you can either pick this definition, large swirling storms, or over here you can say it is a large air mass that rotates around a strong center of low atmospheric pressure. And it's interesting that it's counterclockwise in our northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. And you can see the cyclones occur mainly in the middle and high latitude belts of both hemispheres. Tropical and dry areas. Much of South Asia has a tropical wet-dry climate with just 3 seasons: hot, wet, and cool. The hot and cool seasons are dry. The three seasons are a result of the monsoon wind patterns. Tropical wet climates are found along the western coast of India, southern Sri Lanka, and the Ganges Delta in Bangladesh. These areas get plenty of rain year-round and have thick green vegetation. Not all of South Asia gets drenched by seasonal monsoons. Some places are dry. Parts of the Deccan Plateau, for example, get little rain because the Western Ghats block the winds and rains of the wet season monsoons. Northwestern South Asia has the region's driest climate. The Thar Desert straddles the border between Pakistan and India. The area gets relatively little rain. Annual rainfall is less than 20 inches. The vegetation is mostly low, thorny trees and parched grasses. Highland and temperate climates. The tops of the huge mountain ranges on South Asia's northern border are covered year-round in snow. The mountains affect the climate of lower-lying areas. In winter, the Himalaya block the cold winds sweeping down from Central Asia. This forms a large temperate zone that stretches across Nepal, Bhutan, northern Bangladesh, and northeastern India. Farther south, the elevation of the Deccan Plateau, combined with the wind-blocking effect of the western and eastern Ghats, creates another temperate climate area. And question 26. What causes the three seasons of South Asia? The monsoon wind patterns. Well, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, Houdini and I would like to leave you with this. In 2011, two Nepali men climbed Mount Everest and then paraglided off the summit, touching down over 19 miles away in only 42 minutes and avoiding the potentially deadly 3-day descent. Wow, they climbed Mount Everest and then they paraglided off of it. What an adventure. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.